Real Estate Masters. Everything you need to know about real estate, from buying and selling a house and the latest in local development and community projects to investing in local, national, and international properties. And now, here are two people who know their way around all things real estate, Tamika Bryant and David Johnston.
Thank you for joining us at Real Estate Masters with Tamika Bryant and David Johnston. We're on location at the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, and this week we have our special guest with us, Marvin Lyman of the Black Economic Union. So I can't wait to jump into the show. And again, thank you for joining us. Marvin, how are you?
I'm doing great. Good to see you again.
Good to see you again, too. Now, you've been a guest on our show before. And now, since we've moved our show to be on location and we decided we're going to be in the 18th and Vine district area, we said we have to have you back on the show so you can tell us all about what's new, especially since you've joined BEU and some of our guests may not have seen our previous show. So we've got lots to talk about in a little bit of time.
Okay.
So you jump in, David, you jump in, because we got lots to cover.
Absolutely. Well, first, let me say thank you for having us here again. We really enjoyed our time on your show the last time. And we've been very busy here at the Black Economic Union. BEU is the oldest community development corporation in Kansas City. We were founded back in 1968 by the legendary Jim Brown of the Cleveland Browns, along with Curtis McClinton, our very own Chiefs Hall of Famer football player. And so during that time in 1967, of course, there was great unrest, kind of what's going on in today's time. Muhammad Ali, he was defying entry into the draft, and Jim Brown was able to convene some of the top black male athletes of that time, everyone from Curtis McClinton to Bill Russell to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and several others, and they decided that they would support Muhammad Ali. So that was one great thing that came out of that conference there in Cleveland that became known as the Ali Summit. The second thing that came out of that was the creation of the Black Economic Union. And essentially, they formed this organization to combat gentrification in urban and black neighborhoods. And so Kansas City was the first BEU that was launched. And after 48 years, we're the only one that's left standing. And we've got almost $200 million worth of economic development in our portfolio. And so a lot of which has occurred here in the historic 18th and Vine Jazz District.
What do you attribute that to, that you're the last one standing?
We had...
What makes us special?
We're from Kansas
Marvin.
City. Yeah, and me, No. We really stand on the shoulders of some living and past legends or what have you here in Kansas City. Everyone from Mamie Hughes, who actually led the Black Economic Union at one time, to many others. And I think part of it was just the sense of we have to get something done, and we have to make sure that the most forgotten or neglected folks within the area or within the city had an avenue to ownership, home ownership, to business creation, whether it was the industrial warehouses just to the east of us here, a couple blocks down, to Centennial Villas, which is right at 18th and Woodland, which is a senior housing project, to DA Homes 1, which was the first school 202 conversion project for senior living. And so you just had a bunch of people or a group of people that said, we've got to figure out how to make this work. It was a great partnership also with some of our federal and city and state officials as well to make sure resources were available to the Black Economic Union to bring those projects to market. I think the other thing that makes us relevant today is that we have the same mission. I'm fortunate to be able to kind of ride the heels of Chester Thompson, our immediate past president, and to be able to build upon the work that he embarked on for about 7 years at BEU. And so now as we look at the landscape, we're working on creating more job creation. So we have a agreement with Google, for example, where we're doing some installations and we're creating jobs. That's something that's very unique that hasn't always been done with CDCs. But one of our great predecessors, who's still on the scene, is Mr. Don Maxwell, who kind of laid that example. And he got his start from the Black Economic Union many years ago. In addition to that, we're also working on creating more housing in the area. A lot of times we look at in the urban core just creating low income or affordable housing. What we've looked at is creating a different type of model, one that is more of a hybrid, where you have where you have affordable housing, but affordable market rate housing. Because what we know is that 18th and Vine, it really can't prosper with just low income residents per se. You got to have people with expendable income, and so in order to make sure that we don't achieve complete gentrification in the area, you've got to set your lease rates at a point that is still affordable, but it's not the downtown rates. Right now, downtown, the base is probably about $1.90 per square foot. Some of the products that we're looking to bring to market here, which are market rate but still affordable, are about $1.35 to $1.45 per square foot. So we're really trying to be creative in preserving the character of this of the area, keeping the cultural heritage district intact. Because people travel all across the country. You don't go to see Kansas City and Cincinnati. You go to see Cincinnati and Cincinnati. So we want to make sure that when people come to Kansas City, that they have a unique experience that they can go and share all over the world. This is perhaps, well, I shouldn't say perhaps, but 18th and Vine is the most historic and world-renowned address that Kansas City has to offer. I mean, you can go to Denmark, you can go to Berlin, Germany, you can go to Paris, France, and people know 18th and Vine. And so, we're part of preserving that heritage, that history, that culture, and doing what we can to help build it and make the brand even bigger and better and bring the district to the full fruition of Horace Peterson's dream.
Great. Well, we're at break time, so we're going to take a break, and we'd like to hear more about future plans and what's happening, because I know this is a hot topic right about now, so more people want to know exactly what's happening. So thank you for joining us, and of course, Marvin Lyman. You're watching us on TV25 with Tamika Bryant and David Johnston with Real Estate Masters. We'll be right back.